It's probably better if we can record it, right? And so we've been talking to Suicide Demon for about 2 minutes now, but I'm just going to start that conversation again. So how long have you been there, Captain
15
Suicide?
years. 15 years.
And what did you jump in on?
Her divorce.
And why you been hanging around for 15 years? What keeps you here?
Her light.
What about it?
It feeds me.
Mm-hmm. So you're feeding on her light, but you're a suicide demon, right?
Yes.
So what happens if she does the unthinkable?
I'll find someone else.
Yeah, right. Do you get paid on that day?
Paid?
Yeah.
I move up in the ranks.
Mm-hmm. How many people have you done this to so far?
Thousands.
Aren't you a cunt? Humanity doesn't know. Oh yeah, great excuse. Humanity doesn't know you're there, do they? Humanity doesn't know you exist.
No.
In sacrifice, when the person dies, when the soul exits, then there's a whole lot of fuel released in the dissolving of the energy body. Am I making sense with what I'm saying?
Energy dies?
No, the energy body, the person dies and the energy body starts to break up.
Okay.
And is that where you harvest the most fuel or what?
Well, it's a hunger. It feeds the demons.
Yeah, but what about you specifically, Suicide?
Yes, it feeds me. It makes me more powerful.
Right. So are you like directly eating the energy body?
Eating it?
Yeah. How do you harvest that?
It's more like inhaling it.
Right. Okay. So you absorb the whole thing in a suicide.
Correct.
And does that mean the person doesn't have a ghost after that?
They do.
They do have a ghost?
You mean like a spirit?
Yeah.
They do, but it just takes a while for it to come back.
Right. Okay. And the mechanism of suicide is very, very similar to the mechanism of animal sacrifice, right? Or human sacrifice. Am I right?
They're similar.
Yeah. Well, how are they different?
Well, I guess one is you're talking about humans sacrificing other humans as opposed to someone taking their own life.
Well, yeah, I think they're the same thing. I think in magical terms, they're almost the same thing because when there's a sacrifice, there's a demon to inhale the energy body, and that is payment for the demon's service, right?
Right.
But in this condition, you initiate the kill and you collect the energy body.
Yes. Yes. Saying it that way, yes.
All right. So they're very, very similar.
Yeah.
And so what's the best method you have for convincing someone to sacrifice themselves? How do you go about that?
Well, I start out small, making little suggestions of they're worthless. Nobody really likes them. They have nothing to add in the world. And then just make it bigger and bigger and bigger until they crash.
And how many people have you done this to already?
4,000.
Over how long a period of time?
Oh, I've been around a long time, thousands of years.
Okay. But what would be the average amount of time that you have to spend with somebody? In this case, it was 15 years before we caught up with you, right? Before this was real, before this threat was real. Is that an average amount of time? Is that a standard amount of time?
It depends on, it depends. Is not someone who's into drugs and alcohol or anything like that. I find the addicts are a lot easier and quicker. So hers takes a little bit longer for people like her because she works really hard at trying to overcome these things.
I see. Is the process different with the drug addict? In what way?
Well, it's easier to convince them of things when they're inebriated.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you can inject thoughts straight in there and they stick.
That's right.
But, when people are sober, it's not, they've got a little bit more discernment about that.
Correct.
You would regard yourself as a reasonably successful demon?
Yes.
And I asked this question, how many valves do you have? VALVES, valves.
8.
It sounds like a lot. That must have taken you a long time to accrue them all.
Well, if I'm understanding you correctly, can you spell that again?
VALVES.
Valves.
The channel won't the human being won't understand what I'm talking about, but the demon should.
The number 8 popped in my head.
Okay. And it must have taken you a long time to build into 8 valves.
Well, as I said, I've been around for thousands of years.
All right. And how do you get a new valve? How does one absorb? Is one granted a new valve? Do you capture it off somebody else? How does that work?
It is given to us.
By whom?
Kind of our superiors.
I see. And this is a reward for good work. This is a promotion.
That's right.
And you started off with just 1 valve right at the beginning, am I correct?
Yes.
The supreme overlord of suicide, how many does he have?
40.
Right. So, I think that gives everybody a bit of context. To the public, the valves dictate how much energy they can summon and deploy in a very short space of time. Normally, they'll have a very consistent amount of energy, but how much energy they can pull in when they need it is dictated by how many valves they have. Does that sound right to you, Mr. Suicide?
Yes.
Okay. So it's literally a measure of how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And this guy, he's not a chump. He's not a grunt anymore. I'd say sergeant or lieutenant might be a decent word for you.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. How many underlings do you have?
48.
Yeah. Yeah, so that sounds like a platoon or so. A large platoon.
Yes.
And is there a point at which you will not you won't interact with humans anymore, where you'll be just management and just looking after this these foot soldiers?
I hope so. I think when I reach 10 valves.
Mm-hmm. All right. Have you ever felt like being merciful to any of the humans you encounter?
No. Maybe in the very beginning, but not in thousands of years.
When you're in somebody, the pressure begins and it's constant for us until they die.
Yes.
Yeah, good on you, mate. We're all really proud of you. And what made you give up on mercy, on gentleness with some people?
Well, I mean, I'm a demon, so what do you expect?
All right, so that's a bit of a dumb question, I agree. And so what's your attitude towards humanity in general then?
Well, I would like to defeat it and conquer it, but
what does that look
you're
like?
doing, well, it looks like we'll take over and everything will be dark and dangerous and fighting, and we'll thrive in that.
In that environment, you'll keep reducing the numbers of humanity, won't you?
Yes.
Because right now you're doing a good job of farming humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But in that feast, in that orgy of loosh, humanity won't survive that, will they?
No.
And what will you do after that?
Maybe move on to another planet.
All right. And how long has demonkind been on this planet? For knowledge.
Millions of years.
And what were they doing? How long have humans been on this planet?
Well, it's been different incarnations of humans.
You mean different breeds of humans?
Yeah, different civilizations. So we've probably been here the same amount of time.
Can demonkind survive without humanity?
No, not really.
So is that a not really, or is that a not at all?
No, it's a no.
And so you're a fundamentally parasitic species. Yeah.
Yes,
And what happens when the parasite is separated from the host?
it dies.
And what happens to the host?
The host gets well.
Would you use the word thrives?
Yes,
All right. So humanity would do really, really well to be without you.
that's correct.
And you know this, and you continue to do this. You continue to, what's the word, beat humanity down.
Yep.
You want to talk about that for a little while? You got something to say on that topic?
Beating humanity down?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want me to say? It's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, we don't want to beat it all the way down because then we would have no one to mess up.
Yeah.
So as long as the population continues to grow, we'll have people to feed off them. It's just a matter of controlling the population.
Is that an issue these days?
Sometimes there are a lot of people like you that are beating us down, so it's getting harder.
Do you know exactly who I am?
Yes,
Have you heard my name before in demonic circles?
yes.
And what did they say about me?
Well, they don't like you, but they have a certain respect for you.
Did you see what happened to the god of alcohol?
I heard about it. It's very weak, hardly there.
Where is it now?
Suffering
Where?
in hell. I see it burning.
Show me.
Excuse me?
Show me.
I still didn't catch that.
Can you show me where Al Ghul is burning?
Way underground. I don't really know.
Is he being
But
revived?
It's more like he's slowly dying. Don't know if he can be revived
But the concept of him is still alive.
for now.
Yeah, that was us who did that. That was me and my gang who did that to him.
Did a good job.
Yeah. Did you hear about what happened to the god of narcissism?
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Well, he's a fair bit tougher.
Hmm.
What about the god of
Did-
pedophilia?
I heard a little something about that one.
What did you hear?
I heard that one was taken out.
He was pretty important to you guys, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Why?
because that's probably the most demonic thing you can do. So for us, that's a big deal.
Yeah, okay. And do you know who Watiko is?
I have heard the name, but
He's
I'm not that familiar.
He's not part of your hierarchy, is he?
No.
Yeah, well, you know, our gang is systematically exterminating your kind.
So it seems.
Well, do you think we're succeeding or not?
It appears that way, so I would say yes.
You do understand that your days are numbered as well.
Yes, I do.
And how do you respond to that impending doom? How do you know when you know it's going to end? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm just going to do as much damage as I can until that happens.
Sounds quite spiteful. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Humanity has given you so much. Is there no
Yes.
gratitude for that?
Well, not really. I mean, we do what we do. It's what we do.
Yeah, but shouldn't you have at least some inkling of positivity towards humanity based on the amount of service they've given to you?
Well, I guess we can be thankful that they exist so we can attack them. How's that?
I wonder, do you understand humans as people with their own interests, their own thoughts, their own goals, or are they just a means to an end for you?
No, we understand all that, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to attack and do the damage.
Do you see what happens to a family after you succeed in killing somebody?
Well, they are sad, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't bother us. If anything, we thrive.
Yeah, because your friends, the sadness demons or the mourning demons, can jump in and have a feed too.
Sure.
Do you guys get a cut of that, Lush?
No, not really. We kind of stick to our own.
Because I found like an economic network where, you know, where one demon will set things up for the next demon to push the person over the edge, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
Yes.
yeah. And so there's sort of a teamwork, a sense of teamwork and a sense of shared profit. Are you engaged in that sort of trade?
Some of us are, yes.
And can you describe it to us for me, please?
It's kind of like what humans would call a kickback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do something for me, I give you a little something. So you use the word loosh. I guess that can happen too. I personally don't do much of that,
Mm-hmm.
but I know demons who do.
So it's just like personal taste. You're not about requesting payment for services or giving out payment for services, just a personal taste thing for you.
Yep.
Okay. But others prefer to do it as part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Now, are there different flavors of loosh?
Hmm.
Is loosh? I'm thinking of a singular substance when I talk about loosh. Even
Mhm.
though I've seen it in different consistencies and thicknesses and different potencies of different types, do you guys distinguish between them?
Yes.
Can you describe how that's done?
Seems through color.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different colors of loosh. Not getting much more than that.
Oh, come on, tell me more. Tell me more. Like, are they related to the chakras?
They are like electricity
Mm-hmm.
or frequencies,
Yep.
different colors. So yeah, they would go through the chakras. They would go
Mm-hmm.
all over the place.
So is it measured so it's not measured in intensity, or it is measured in intensity?
And different colors are more intense.
I see. So it's kind of like the colors denote the intensity.
Yes.
And so if somebody's goldfish dies, it's a low intensity loosh, but if somebody's child dies, it's a high intensity loosh. Am I jumping in the right direction?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can you elaborate on this sort of thing at all? How many grades of loosh are there?
9.
Mm-hmm.
White and gold are the highest.
White is more powerful than gold.
Yes.
And then what color?
White and gold.
Yep.
Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Red, green, blue, purple, black. Actually, purple's a higher vibration.
So is this in order or not?
Well, it was, and I kind of got off track.
Well, I only count 8 different colors here.
Black is at the bottom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I got white, gold, yellow, red, green, blue, purple, black.
How many is that?
That's 8.
Oh, orange.
And this is not related to chakras, like the orange chakra giving out on it orange energy, or in this case, orange loosh.
We see it differently.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is there anything else you can tell us about that?
Not at this time.
All right. And does pedophilia give out the highest quality loosh the most consistently?
Yes.
Nothing gives better.
No.
And what grade is suicide loosh usually?
What grade?
Yeah.
It's not far from pedophilia.
What color is
You
it
know,
usually?
what color?
Yeah. You should know this, right?
Gold.
So now let's talk about.
All right. How'd I do?